We're here in New York City, the home of Russell Simmons. Now, Donald Trump called Russell one of the most extraordinary entrepreneurs of our time, with amazing contributions in music. Heard of Def Jam? Fashion. Heard of Fat Farm or Baby Fat? Finance, entertainment, and jewelry. But this man truly believes in giving back. He has a heart of gold. MTV BASE meets with MTN brings you Uncle Rush. Let's meet our aspiring entrepreneurs and African hip-hop heads who are preparing to meet Russell Simmons.
Hello, my name is Isaac Boateng. I'm Ghanaian, I'm 19 years old. I'm the type of person I like to embrace my culture. Some of my friends call me Africa, but most people know me as African Mac. I'm a rapper, I'm a fashion designer, and I started my own clothing line called SOS Style and Style. As a young entrepreneur, there's a lot of competition around. Everybody either wants to start their own clothing line, everybody wants to rap, everybody wants to model, everybody wants to do something with themselves, and you can't blame them.
My name is Ngozi Waneri. I currently work in the investment banking industry, and I'm from Nigeria. Wall Street in downtown Manhattan. This is where a lot of financial services professionals live, and it's also the location of the large Occupy Wall Street movement. I see what individuals have accomplished when you connect hard work with resources and opportunity. And I know this can be achieved back home if the opportunities and the resources are put in place.
Hi, my name is Sandra. I am 23 years old, and I am from Kenya. At this time of my life, I'm actually a student majoring in broadcast journalism, and I am a part-time model as well. I have a lot of confidence in myself, and I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I think that's what's important, just not in modeling alone, but in any career, because you don't always get what you want.
My name is Ayodele Ali. I am a Nigerian young musician. I consider myself the kind of musician who's always trying to bring something fresh, introspective, yet extrospective at the same time. Being Nigerian and growing up in Lagos has prepared me for where I am right now, which is a constant struggle. It's a constant just trying to make it and be the best that I can be.
Hi, my name is Sophie Zingassi. I'm from Senegal, and I'm a fashion designer. I'm currently working on my Spring 2013 line, which will be previewed during New York Fashion Week, and I will be opening up my store in Dakar. So I actually started out with economics, and I always told myself that in another world I would be a fashion designer, and so I went on studying economics. And in the midst of it, I just was like, fashion is what I love. I love to design, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply for like the best school in the United States for fashion. And if I get in, then I'll know that this is my calling, and if I don't, then oh well. And thankfully, I got into Parsons.
My name is Johnson. I'm from Tanzania. I grew up in Bukoba. What I love is anything that has to do with entertainment, whether it be music videos, movies, or anything like that. I'm willing to do it, and I'm willing to learn. In the future, I look on to becoming a media mogul, being able to expose African artists to bridge the connection between Africa and the United States for people to be able to be entertained.
My name is Dominique. I am Liberian, and
I am a singer and a writer.
I'm very passionate about music. I'm super passionate about books. I grew up reading books every day, and that's where I would kind of find peace of mind.
So Dreams is a nonprofit organization, and I send books to students in Liberia. It started in 2006. I got to really see what these kids needed and how much the curriculums had to change, and Dreams is all about sharing books.
We're just moments away from meeting the supernova, Russell Simmons. Russell, you ready for us?
I'm interested in meeting Russell Simmons because
On one hand, you have a business mogul, this magnate.
He has his hands in so many things: philanthropy, music, fashion, and changing the world.
I feel like I can relate to him as an entrepreneur.
He started a record label when he was in college, when he was going to NYU. I tried to start a record label when I was actually in 6th grade.
And on the other hand, you have this effusive philanthropist.
he's so successful, but he does not forget to give back to the community.
I think an opportunity to meet with an individual like that would be nothing short of an amazing experience.
He's the whole scope.
Yeah, I'm very excited to be meeting him.
Russell Simmons is amazing.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. We're honored to be here. We're gonna go right into it. Our very first question today is, you have so many successes throughout your career, and you have made so many incredible contributions to various industries, music industry, fashion industry. What's the one thing you're most proud of and why?
I don't know, it changes by the moment. It's like people ask me what's my favorite record, and sometimes I say it's the one on the radio, right? Because the hot, you don't want to turn what's on the radio, right? A lot of times. And so I feel that way about some of the work that I do. You know, when I'm engaged in work, it becomes my favorite work. And I think we all have that kind of experience, except we don't always acknowledge it. So I've come to realize that, you know, that a lot of times my favorite work is the work that's in front of me, and my biggest accomplishment is the thing that's on the horizon or is happening at that moment.
Right.
Everyone here is hungry, motivated, and we want to be successful. What qualities do you think we need in order to become successful entrepreneurs?
Success is from the heart. We're here for a short time to be happy. You know, we're here in America. We've accomplished something to get here, didn't we?
Yes.
And the work every day is ongoing, and there's always something, a carrot in front of you.
Yes.
Always. It's always, if I can get one more thing.
Yes.
And life is about being comfortable with where you are. And the idea of operating from a calm place of needing nothing. And those who need nothing attract everything. So this is a successful mindset, escaping a poverty mindset and moving into an optimistic, happy space, moving from that space. That's really success, because that's happiness. And that also attracts more happiness, and the cycle continues to spin.
What would you say are the biggest lessons and insights that money has taught you about yourself and about the others that surround your life?
You know, it allows people sometimes to act up. You know, it's the freedom that they wanted to do things in the world, the physical world, that, you know, they thought would make them happier. Lots of people get their first little paper, and they get really, because of the idea that they're gonna make it somewhere when they get their money. As soon as I get this money, I'm gonna, man, I can't wait to get this paper. It keeps feeding a hole, and the hole gets deeper, not smaller. Right. So you're feeding a hole, the hole just gets bigger. It's impossible to fill. And more money, more problems. You heard that, right? Right. That's real talk, because your money, God gives you as you give. In the proper cycle, you get and you give. You're in a cycle of giving, right? So as a giver, you know, money is great if you can use it to benefit others. Celebrity is great if you can use it to benefit others. Other than that, it's not, you know, it certainly doesn't promote happiness.
Your philosophy, which inspires me, is that good givers are great getters. Sticking to that philosophy, I was wondering if you could give me some insight as to how you identified your particular gift and how you constantly give that.
Well, it's your resources. God gives you, and you choose what it is you can give back. So if he gives you music, lyrics, you give them out, you know. And I think that's the way we go about life. You know, you have so many talents and things that's God-given. It's which can you focus on giving back? Because I mean, you're a business guy, right? Or you're a music guy. You gotta do business.
He's a business guy.
No, but the business guy gotta be creative in the way he approaches business, and the music guy has to be business in the way he sells his music. And you all gonna have to sit in front of an accountant. He might hate numbers. He's in front of you. You gotta deal with him. And you find, you know, every day all of your day is done on things that are not your passion, but you can make it all your passion. It's the practice to make life your passion and to engage in it fully.
In my home, education is very, very important. Both of my parents are very highly educated. They've always pushed us to get educated as far as I can remember, and I think it's invaluable. There's this conception that people in the music industry and entertainers have managed to be tremendously successful without getting a formal education. What's your view on education for young Africans, and could you tell us more about the Diamond Empowerment Fund?
Well, the Diamond Empowerment Fund is to underwrite education for as many Africans as possible. A limited number, a few thousand maybe at most. But it's, you know, it's a way to extract monies from industries that extract monies from Africa and try to give it back in the form of education, higher education. It's critical. Africa's rich with resources, rich with opportunity. Mm-hmm. It needs education. Absolutely. You know, you have all these affirmative action programs in South Africa. You have to have the education to be able to deliver on these promises. Right. And for each spirit to be educated, you know, it opens up, you know, a relationship with the world that's different than they previously had and would ever have. Right. So everybody deserves an education. And not only does everybody deserve it, it's critical for their freedom, their honest relationship with the world. Again, it's just what's available, you know, you should make sure you make it available for every young person.
My question is, it's almost like an old story that happens to us because I grew up in Africa. Usually our parents or your grandparents, they used to go back and tell you stories of the struggles or whatever that they went through. Yeah. And I know that you're very heavy on honoring the victims of the slavery.
I don't want it to be that this slave trade memorial doesn't honor, it honors the slaves of the past, but never mention the 27 million modern day slaves. It's about what's going on now. This is the purpose of a memorial, so it won't happen again. Don't walk past it like it's something in the past and it's not going on, that women aren't being abused and traded into sex slaves today. And so the slave trade memorial, it has to have an effect on people. It has to include in its messaging something about the modern day slaves. And I think that's the reason you suffer, is so others don't suffer, not so you lick your wounds. You know.
Picking up from where you left off, transatlantic slave trade, have you ever gone back to trace your ancestry, assuming that you think you're from Africa?
I think so.
Okay. Have you tracked it?
I have not.
Okay. Cool.
I don't.
Are you interested?
I don't even know who my cousins are. I mean,
Coming up after the break.
When I started, the people laughed at me. Oh, he's genius. Remember me, you got to check out, right? The next opportunities are always sitting in front of you.
Can I call you Uncle Russ?
Call whatever you want.
Welcome back to MTV BASE Meets with MTN. We're sitting down with Russell Simmons. Let me tell you something, this man has the greatest view in New York City. On the 43rd floor, baby.
So many people use social media for their personal and professional lives. What advice can you give these people on how they could use it constructively?
You know, I use it, and I think that, you know, it's nice to learn from so many different sources and to have relationships with so many different people at one time, right? It's in some ways a distraction, but if you're studying, then you need to study. You know, if you engage in gossip instead of uplifting dialogue, then it's a problem. But you have to choose for yourself what subject matter is inspiring and what people. You know, I always say love everybody, but only hang with those that lift you up. And then social media can be very good, right?
Yeah. Aside from Twitter, which you were doing earlier, what are some of the ways that you use social media?
I like the way that we do, you know, social justice is gay rights, all kinds of human rights, all kinds of social issues. But then we do celebrity stuff, and it's kind of the way that we gain traffic. That's kind of the way that we view the world, not just, you know, only in the social and political subject matter, but on all the fun stuff. But they say, well, why do you write so much nice stuff about these celebrities? We don't write any negative, you know. But why don't you do it? It's because I don't see it. They say, the way we see celebrities is kind of the way we view ourselves. They're mirrors of our own realities in some cases, you know. And what they say every day when they're looking at, you know, whatever style, whatever ideas are coming out of a celebrity's mouth, it's kind of their inspiration. They spend time on it. It must mean something. And the way they judge those people is the way we judge ourselves.
I currently work in the investment banking industry, and it's popularly known that there's a relatively small representation of young Africans within the industry. I know that when you had embarked upon your entrepreneurial endeavors, this was at a period in time when there was relatively very few powerful black people in business. So I'm just curious to know, how did you manage to build your self-belief, your self-confidence, and your self-esteem operating under such conditions?
Do you feel that there's terrible obstacles every day?
Not really.
You feel that heavy glass ceiling on your ass?
No, I don't personally feel it directly.
You don't personally feel it?
You do observe some subtle discrimination and some.
Well, I'm not saying be blind.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm really for real. I'm not saying be blind. I'm saying though, you have to be able to go out into the world, have confidence and courage, and do what's in front of you. Sure. You know, to give as much as you can give, without carrying some weight. Sometimes it's other people's weight, but it's the same time, you know, the world is open for you. You've gotten here. How did you get here? Through belief in yourself.
Can I call you Uncle Russ, first of all?
Call whatever you want. Uncle Russ. Well, not whatever you want. Uncle Russ is okay.
Uncle Russ, I'm a big fan of yours, and I follow your work. And following your work, I noticed that you have a genius for rising above the pack and staying ahead of the curve. I want to know, how do you manage to find your next opportunity?
The next opportunities are always sitting in front of you. It's about having the courage to invest in them, I think. And also, I think that a lot of what people see as success, the plan is for it to happen in 1 year, but then it gets hot in 5 years. 3 years into everybody fell out. All your partners quit. You bought them out in every company, every time. You know, my financial service company took 6 years. It's just now people really understand. Everybody's doing it. American Express and Walmart and all that. But but when I started, the people laughed at me. The idea of a virtual bank was no such thing. And it took me years to prove the concept. And people still don't know what it is I do. They still don't know what it is. You can never fail until you quit. So you have to stay on your hustle until it's done, until it becomes a reality. And I think that the luck I've had is because I didn't quit.
And what advice can you give a young African on finding their next opportunity and pursuing it?
Well, you find a single point of focus, anything, any idea in front of you. You know, there's always a white space. There's always something that people are missing. Wouldn't it be nice if people, that's it right there. It'd be great if they had, you know, well then give it to them. You know, you have to work on it. There's so many opportunities. It's just about what moment you find courage to stick into one and to stay on it. You have an idea, you go to the library, research it. You go to the internet, research it. Start the process. As you begin it, you take one step and another step. Next thing you know, you're engaged. You go home and tell your friend, I got a great idea. It's like, oh man, that's great, I love that. I'm gonna be rich. Yeah, you're gonna be rich, that's great. And then 6 weeks later, like, how's that going? So I'm working on it.
Right, still working on it.
Right? I'm still working on it.
Calls.
Yeah, and it's like 6 weeks later, 6 months later, a year later, 10 years later. You know, they say, damn man, why don't you go to a job or something? Are you still doing that? And 11 years later, oh, he's genius. Look what he invented, you know? It takes faith and dedication, and it takes a little bit more resilience than people think they have. It's always a stretch, that one more day.
Right, so the assumption that it happened overnight.
Nothing happened, not with me, especially me. I have no experience with anything happening in short, just woke up and I had an idea and it became reality, never. The idea of working hard and forgetting results, so important. That's what you do. When you find something you love, you're engaged in the moment. You're making music, it's the melody. Like that's it, like other is not important at all, it's the song, you know? It draws you in. And the way the song draws you in is the way all your work should draw you in. I would try to remind, you know, just do the work and forget the misery.
I read that you are a strict vegan and a yoga enthusiast. Could you tell me what led you into this lifestyle and what it means to you?
Well, the yoga 20 years ago I went to. It was a fun class. There was 60 girls, 2 guys.
Usually when guys go to yoga.
Naturally. But the diet came as a result, being around compassionate people, talking about the animals and what it meant. You know, when you know something, you do better. You know better, you do better. If you live in America, the way the animals are. Born into suffering, made to be born, the most horrible experiences. The worst disaster in human history is the abuse of the animals.
From your extraordinary role in hip-hop to your consistency in social activism, your legacy is already so multifaceted, but what do you most want to be remembered by?
Remember means you got to check out, right? I got to check out for you to remember. I don't have one specific thing I want to be remembered for, but not to be a selfish, greedy entrepreneur. Oh, Russell, he's a money-getting mother. You know what I mean? That's, you know what I'm saying? That's not what I really want. I am more concerned that if there's an inspiration for others, that it becomes one that promotes giving, and that the kind of a spiritual statements that I've made really stick. It's nice that I contributed to artists because then those artists also promote a cycle of lots of giving. You know, you help Chris Tucker and one day he's in Africa doing some good work. Or if you help some artists and they become a great catalyst for change or something, then that's nice. You never know the rippling effect of your work. Yeah?
Thanks for joining us, man. We've had a great time.
Right.
Thank you so much.
So you can edit this to 5 minutes, right? Yep. That's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to Twitter.
There you go.
Russell Simmons is amazing.
Amazing.
What I take out from this interview is just stay focused.
He said one of the keys to happiness is to get to a point where you need for nothing. And that really touched me because all my life I've always needed something.
What he said about giving was so powerful, and I will definitely take that with me.
He just owns his spirit, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful spirit.
He's very into social media, obviously, because he was always on his BlackBerry, like texting or Twittering.
I was thinking like he was gonna be almost like rigid, but he was very casual.
Very, very warm, funny individual, and no, it was a great time.
I think he just reaffirmed all of my spiritual practices and my spiritual beliefs.
I just want to say, Russell, keep doing what you're doing, style out. SOS, we see you soon.